In this video, we will go through prerequisite steps required prior to configure an HMC based agent under Application Performance Management version 8.1.4. Here on the left hand side I have a SSH connection to an AIX LPAR, which I have already installed the monitoring agent for HMC base. And on the right hand side I have an SSH connection to the HMC system for which I will configure to monitor its resources. First thing we're going to do is to ensure that we have the SSH connection configured between the AIX LPAR and the HMC, and there are two ways to do this. I will demonstrate both methods. First is simply by running a Perl script, which if we navigate to default installation of APM agent, and within the subdirectory AIX 526, subdirectory ph, subdirectory bin, and the Perl script we want to run in this instance is called setup underscore HMC underscore key.pl. The name of the HMC, I'll put the fully qualified host name. The name of the user which will have access rights via SSH to the HMC root. We'll go and create the public and private keys. The private key was stored on the .ssh id underscore rsa, and the public key will be called id underscore rsa.pub. I'll go ahead and say yes to try to connect. And it'll ask for the password for the user to connect to the HMC. And confirm the password. And there we have it. We can now verify by running an SSH command against the HMC with the user. HMC. And the command we can run is, for example, lshmc to verify the version of the HMC being installed. And it replies back. You can see that the command has replied back the same. If I go show you on the HMC itself, it's the same version as shown on the test that we just carried out. Now the second method, in case if you don't have Perl script, we can do this manually also. But first I will go and remove the keys that we already have. So if I navigate to .ssh folder on root, you see I see the two files in there. I'll remove both private and public key, and I also edit the known hosts and delete the key. Save it. Now on the HMC I will go and take a look at the key that was transferred across, which is stored by default on their .ssh / the file name will be called authorized keys 2, and that's the key. What we want to do is to remove it first, so we copy the key that we have first, and the command that we can use to remove it is mk auth keys -r to remove, and in double quotes we paste the same key that we had copied across, and there you have it. So if I now run a cat of the same file again, it should be all cleared. Good. Now we can carry on with the second method of trying to put the keys across, and the command here is ssh -keygen -t for type RSA, and we're going to force it to put it into the same folder .ssh, and I'm going to call it also the same file name for private key, which was id underscore RSA. That will go and generate the public and private key again. Just carriage return by entering no passphrases and confirm that again. And that's it. The key is now generated. So now if we have a look at SSH, we'll see that the files are generated again. What we need to do is to transfer the public key across to our HMC, because all we've done so far created it locally on our AXLPAR. And to do that, we can just run SCP command to transfer the file. So the file name is, take the public key and do it via the same user at HMC and put the colon at the end of your command. Say yes, enter the password for the account, which is, and the file, you can see that it was transferred across 100%. So what we have to do now is to add manually the key to the authorized key within the HMC server. And to do that, make a cat of the file to view it. So then I'll copy the full string of the key, and now I can make author key -a in double quotes, the full key in double quote, close the double quotes, and that's it. So what we've done now is added the key to the authorized key within the HMC. And if I just make sure it has been appended, and if you want to compare, you will see they're exactly the same. Now if I go back to our AXLPAR system and try to one more time verify that this key works, I'll try and run the same command again, ls HMC -v, to make sure that we've got the same. Yes, so that's the first part. There's a second part is that we have to go also through, and that's preparing the SDK jar files for the HMC. Now for this task, there's also a script that we can run automatically to make the SDKs prepared. And if we go back to our LPAR and go back to our directory where the scripts we found, prepare sdk.sh, simply run the script. So the HMC username that we're going to use should have accessed via SSH, HSC root. Put the name of the HMC, HMC1. Input install directory, we use the default directory, just press enter. I'll say yes, the fingerprint is acceptable. Now we see that the script is terminated, but it wasn't successful and it's created because of some errors. Inability to actually create the AX526PH folder on the HMC itself. Instead, he has offered to do this again manually by copying the package file from HMC to our AXLPAR machine. So if I say send file, use it as secure transfer -s, and the local file transfer, we shall copy this across to remote system transfer, will be our AXLPAR machine, and we send it to the directory, for example temp, as user root. Put the password for the AX box that you have, and the file should be now transferred. So if you go back to our LPAR and go to temp folder, there should be an Eclipse zip file. Notice that the 8823 is similar to the version of the HMC that we're dealing with. I'll create a temporary folder, call it SDK, and I will move the file to SDK folder I just created for simplicity, and we shall unzip it, and there it goes. It creates two folders, one IBM HMC REST Web Services SDK samples and SDK runtimes. So let's navigate first to that directory. And then we go to lib/IBM. You notice the jar files relevant to the HMC that we have, versions that we have. I'll make the directory, and then I copy all the jar files to that directory. So if I have a look at the folder, you see all the jar files there being copied across. And this is all we have to do in preparation of SDK for HMC. You don't need to repeat these tasks for other HMC-based agent instances unless there is a different version of HMC, and in that case we'd have to do it again for that version. Thank you for watching this video.
Thank you for watching this video from the IBM Academies. We really appreciate your feedback, so please feel free to use the comments box below. If you enjoyed this video, we would love you to check the thumbs up button. We have added several helpful links to the comments box which will take you straight to our blogs and other videos. Thanks again for watching.